Hey, y'all. This is your girl, Erica, from the Dope Discussions with Erica podcast. Before we get into today's show, I just want to ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell so you can meet us back here every Sunday at 6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time for all of our dope discussions. You don't want to miss them, do you? So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell so you can meet us here and maybe even beat us here.
Dope Discussions podcast. Dope discussions, Gator, Erica, woke discussions. Mob ties, how they rock and think they both was cousins. Gifting you with their words so you might know you something. Just go and look for them live. They do it every Sunday. Every Sunday.
And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. It's Gator beat it, baby. Make state to state, baby, coast to coast. Like the fire, baby, spark the jokes. And we gon' bring you that dope. So talk with Erica, man, talk with G. And all you gotta do is talk with me. And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope.
Hey, y'all. Good evening. Welcome
Good
back.
evening.
It's another Dope Discussions Sunday.
Sunday. It is a dope discussion Sunday. Welcome everybody in the virtual congregation. How y'all doing today?
Yes, welcome back. We are happy to be back. Happy to see y'all in the place. Gonna talk. We got some good stuff for y'all today. We're gonna do some house cleaning before we get started. Why don't y'all go ahead, click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and come on and join the Dope Discussions family, the Dope Discussions community.
Yes, definitely. Make sure that y'all do that, man, because we love to see y'all here. We know y'all love to see us. So why don't we make this a consensual agreement? Why don't you just go ahead and click that like button for all of these videos and hit subscribe and click that notification bell. Just make sure that you're always aware of everything that's going on here at Dope Discussions.
Yes. How you doing today, Gator? How was your week?
Man, it has been a week. It has been a little bit action-packed, a little bit stressful, but guess what? At the end of the day, it's all good. Had a good time today. Everything looks like it's going to be a good week coming up. I mean, hey, I'm blessed and highly favored, as they would like to say. How's you doing this? How was your weekend? I see you ready for the topic today because you got your Mary J on.
Yes.
Like, that was new. I didn't even see that in the in the pre-meeting here. She got the Mary J on. She ready.
My forehead was shining a little
Sure.
bit. I said, let me put my hat on. My forehead was popping.
Right. Might need to check my forehead. Hold on.
Hey,
Look up.
Gunter man, thank you for joining us. How you doing today?
What's going
Hey,
on,
joyfully
Gunter?
blessed. Come on in. Come on in. Get y'all whatever y'all drink. Your water. Your your tea. Your vodka. Your Sprite. Your whatever you drink. Go ahead and get you a drink and get comfortable and get ready for today's show because it's going to be entertaining to say the least.
Yes.
Hey,
Definitely.
Ursula. Black girls getting their shift together is in the house. Yes.
Ursula. What's up? What's
Yes.
going
Gunter Man
on?
said life is exceptionally good. That's good. Good.
Yes. Yeah, we
So,
like to hear that.
yes, today's topic, y'all. Are y'all ready for today's topic? We are talking about whoo. So, you caught your partner cheating. Now what?
Mm.
That scenario
Mm.
can go into a million different directions depending on the parties involved.
Right, exactly.
And we are going to share some of our experiences with that topic. We're going to have some story time. But this we want this to be an interactive show today, guys. So if you have an experience or story with catching your partner cheating and you want to share your experience, your reaction, how that scenario played out, I pinned the link to join us backstage. So if you just want to hop on real quick and share your story, you don't even have to get on camera if you don't want to, but just hop
Right.
on. And if you want to add to the conversation and give us some of your story times, we are welcoming all of our viewers today to call in, share your stories about when you caught your partner cheating and what happened.
Right, exactly. If you want to remain anonymous, you can. That's completely fine. Fine, I mean, the main thing is we want your interaction because Erica and I have lived these perfect lives, never been cheated on, never had no issues with the maid, and so it would be kind of boring if we just shared our interaction. So we want y'all to interact with us.
Yes. I what we gonna do? I'm getting tongue tied just thinking of, and I tried to kind of narrow it down to a few specific experiences. I mean, because I have them.
Yeah.
I have a laundry list of these, um, and that can speak to my mindset back then of the kinds of relationships I was involved in, because
Mm.
you should only be able to catch a
See.
person cheating maybe once or twice.
Right. And I mean, once that's it, you got to go.
How many chances do you give somebody to cheat?
I mean, if you going into the multiples, there's a problem.
I gave too many chances. I
For
gave too
real.
many chances.
That is
So,
real.
who wants to start off? You want to start off? You want me to start off?
No, see, this is my thing, right? I've caught people cheating, but I've always caught people cheating on some stupid stuff, right? The
Mm-hmm.
story I will share is I was dating this girl, and we had been dating for maybe like a year or so, and all of a sudden she started kind of getting a little bit distant and all that kind of stuff. And I saw things might be going a little awry, but hey, we was supposedly click tight. We supposedly in this, strong relationship. So she tells me this story one day
Mm-hmm.
that her friend, now this I should have knew something was wrong. Well, I did know something was wrong. She tells me this story about how her friend's boyfriend witnessed a murder And she was being, and her friend and her boyfriend were being sequestered by the FBI for the weekend. And they were going to let them go out for 2 hours, and then they would have to go back and get sequestered again. So, could she borrow some money from me in that little time that she had out, so she could, have some money for food and everything while she was being sequestered?
You fell for that old excuse.
No,
I'd have used that so many times.
So did you say you done used that one? Look. So wait. So you done used the FBI? See, the FBI was the thing that kind of threw me off a little bit. I said the FBI. That don't even sound right. But maybe it don't sound so right that it is. I don't know. But anyway, I go out and I find her, out with some other guy during this time. She did it to get out of a weekend that we were supposed to be going out of town. So I caught her and I was like, yeah, you got to go. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt about the situation.
The thing about it is, if you're going to cheat, I'm going to need you to
come up with something better than that.
Rehearse
right
your lie, run it by a couple of people, ask them, do it sound believable? Before you come tell me.
So here's the thing. They had this thing rehearsed. Her friends, they had the whole thing like rehearsed to a T, to where her friend's boyfriend was calling me like, yeah, man, hey, look, I'm locked down, bro. I'm scared, man. I need some advice. I saw this guy get shot and I don't blah, blah, blah. I mean, this whole thing. She came with this whole elaborate scheme, right?
So when she got them and they were involved in the foolery?
Yes, they were.
Wow. See, they all need to go drink bleach.
Yeah, they do. I mean, see, this is what happens when you end up making friends with people who not so bright.
Mm-hmm.
They got this skit that Big John and them do about the whole click stupid.
Yes,
that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, to sure. Yeah. Anytime you get, to me, I would think, and I used to ask my ex-husband this all the time. Like, I really was curious about the cheating process and what goes through your mind, and do you plan it out, and how do you keep the lies straight, and isn't it stressful to try to remember what you said to who you said it to, so you don't trip yourself up.
Right.
And my thing is if you're gonna cheat, at least do it by yourself so nobody won't have anything on you.
Right.
But then when you bring people in to assist you in your cheating, and y'all couldn't come up with a lie better than that one.
Right. The most outlandish lie. You might as well tell me you got picked to go to the moon to stop an asteroid from hitting the Earth. You might as well spit some stuff like that at me. I'm like, okay. But yeah, it was and I guess they didn't see nothing wrong with it. They thought it was a good lie.
Yeah. So
they all click stupid.
Oh no.
They all cool.
Y'all came together and came up with that one. So so what happened once you caught her? How did you find out she was actually cheating?
Well, so the dumbness of the situation was she used to tell me about the place that some of the places that her and her friends would go to or whatever. And I was like, okay, I had a feeling that's where they at. Let me go over there to this little bar or whatever. And sure enough, I go to the little night spot or whatever around 8:00. And she had a table with the guy or whatever. And her other friends was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. So I just walked up to her and was like, hey, you can give me that money back. wait a minute, I'm not even gonna loan it to you. Because I told her at first I couldn't loan it to her, so I guess, whatever. But yeah. And she was like, "Oh my God, let me explain. So the FBI people, oh, you still go with the FBI?" Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
actually did give her the money.
No. She wanted. I did give her some money. I gave her $20.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted 400, and I was like, "I'm
Oh.
gonna give you $20." Ursula said, "Should have flipped the table over." You know what?
See, Ursula said you should have flipped that table over like she did.
You know what? But it was just so, to me, the idiocy of the whole thing was just like, I can't believe I went through this. Like, I literally was sitting there like, I can't believe this happened. What is going on here? And I went and
Right.
told my partner about it, and he was sitting there like, "Oh yeah, that's some dumb. That's some dumb s."
So did y'all break up right then and there? Did
Oh
y'all
yeah.
talk afterwards?
No, you got to go. You got to go.
Well, see, so how do I start this story? Because I told you this story before, so I want to set it up correctly.
Okay.
Okay. My second husband, he went off on the turnaround. He went off on this turnaround job, told me about the job maybe like a month prior. So
Yeah.
he was going to be out on the boat, out on the water. I think he was supposed to be gone for like 2 months, So he went off on the boat, and out there on the water, you have limited cell phone service. So we could never really talk on the phone,
Right.
but we would text each other, every day or whatever. And so he would be texting me, giving me updates on what's going on out there in the water, what it's like out there. He homesick, he ready to come home, and
Uh,
this, that, and the other. And so we was really missing each other during that time, talking about all our future plans and what we gonna do when he make it home. And the phone sex, because you're not being able to see each other, so you gotta figure out some
oh
kind of
Lord,
way.
she's spicing it.
Yeah,
Spicy.
we was spicing it up and talking about what we gonna do to each other when he come home and all this good stuff. So I was working at the bank during that time, and I was working on, the bank has 3 floors, so I was at the very top floor. And the day he was getting off the boat to come home, he texted me and let me know he was on his way.
Yeah.
And I'm all excited. I'm telling the girls at work, "Ooh, my baby coming home. We got plans to do this tonight. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." And so when he told me he was there, he was downstairs at the bank. So I rushed downstairs. We jumped in. It was like we hadn't seen each other in years. You know how on the
It's
movies
some
when you run
reunion
to,
stuff. You're running
yeah,
up to people,
yeah, when
rubbing
you
hands
run
on. Yeah.
towards each other in slow motion and you hug and you kiss and you all this. And baby, I was never happier to see a man than I was to see that man in that parking lot that day. So everything was good. I think maybe a week went by, 2 weeks went by. We was in the bed one morning. I don't remember if it was a Sunday, Saturday. It was one of those weekend mornings, and we was sleeping in late. And we heard a boom, 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 boom on the front door. And
Mm,
our bedroom is all the way to the back. So the kids'
right.
room was before ours. And so one of the kids went to the door and opened the door, and I heard a woman's voice.
Mm.
"Is Roderick there?"
Ooh.
And one of my kids came back there and it was like, "Mr. Roderick, somebody out there for you." And I was like, "Who is that?" And she's saying it with some attitude in her voice.
Uh-oh.
He recognized the voice, and he was like, "Don't go up there. Don't go up there. I'm gonna go take care of it." I was like, oh no, a
Nope.
woman come beating on my
For
door
real. Look.
like that and got that tone of voice at my door. I want to go see who it is.
Right.
So when I went up there, he had I think he had made his way up there before me. But when I made it up there, they was arguing and he was telling her to get away from the house. What did you come over here for? You ain't got no business being there. And, when I came to the door, she was like, did he tell you he been living with me for the past 2 months? Did he tell you when he was telling you he was gone on the turnaround, he was living with me? I'm scratching my head like, say what now? Oh, so this what you do. This what you do. You pack all your stuff and you back over here at her house. So this what you do. So what you did, you just use me, huh?
So she was a party to all the BS. She knew what was going on.
She knew about me, but I didn't know about her. But she, whatever lie he told her we wasn't together no more.
Oh, okay. So he
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have to catch one of the thunderous karate chops to the throat.
Yeah, baby.
Did y'all crowd him? Because that would have been some crowd action right there.
I was trying to take it. I was really trying to, how when you think back, like when somebody tell you something and you're like, I'm not believing this, but then I have to go back and I have to think back, like, and then when you put stuff together, you're like, oh, so during this time, I remember this happened and it didn't seem quite right, but I didn't think nothing of it. So then when you start putting all the pieces together, you're like, oh, damn.
Oh, hell no.
This dude done played me.
Wow.
And so the more she was telling me more stuff about what happened during that time, it started to make sense. Because at first I was like, this woman must be crazy.
Right.
My husband was on the turnaround. He was not at your house.
Right.
So, girl,
man, look.
It took me a minute to like take it all in and process it. And then that's when we got into it. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, and he tried to jump in his car and leave because he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to argue.
He tried to flee.
He tried to flee.
He tried to flee the scene.
And I fled right behind him.
No, y'all was not playing the Dukes of Hazzard going up the street.
Ooh, I was like, oh no, sir. You ain't getting away. You're not getting away from this. We gonna talk about this. What is this? Because I don't
I have no clue.
I don't know. We're gonna have to watch out for the
we gotta watch out for the trolls.
For the trolls.
I couldn't even read. I was trying to read it. I couldn't even.
So look at Ursula said, "Flip the table, sis."
That's like that wrestling. Flip the table.
He got in his car and I got in mine, and we was going around the city.
You gave chase.
I gave chase. And when he saw I was serious, he finally. I was like, "Oh, we could get 2 more cars."
Did he pull into a police station? Did he?
I don't care about these cars. We can get 2 more cars, dude. You're not getting away. We're gonna talk about this. So when I blocked him, I blocked him in to where he couldn't move no more. And then he gonna get out the car. Girl, is you crazy? What is you doing? Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. You about to see how crazy I am.
Shoot, look. I'm just sitting here thinking about the fact that you was driving behind y'all going high school. You like Roscoe Pico. I'm gonna catch your ass.
You ain't finna get away from me, sir. We gonna talk about this
Did
right
you block
now.
them in? Now look, you using your police skills. So once I blocked them in, wait, we skipped something. How you calling them? You putting out roll nail strips and shit.
and up to that time, he had never seen me really get angry. But that was a point where it's like, you're not finna see. The thing is, you got this woman. Now this woman knows where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And she bold enough to come banging on my door.
What else is she bold enough to do? No.
And had she not caught me off guard to where I was trying to really process the information, she probably would have got it.
She would have got it too. She would have got it too. That's what Chira was saying earlier. She would have got it too, and she would have caught that young choke out.
Yeah. But my policy has always been to never confront the other woman,
Right.
because the man in the middle is the one who's lying to both of us. I don't know what what he told you, and you don't know what he told me. So my beef ain't with you unless you approach me directly.
Exactly. Because I mean, a lot of times they're just as much the victim as you is. You are. They don't know what exactly is going on. Sometimes, yeah, they do. But other times, they're not aware of the lies that this other person is telling, So, yeah, you can't necessarily go at them, even though it might feel good at the time to get a couple blows in on them right quick. It's best to go ahead and leave. It's best to go ahead and leave it alone and focus on the culprit at that point. I'm mad you had put out a whole APB on your boy, was chasing them down the block.
Oh, he saw something. He saw something in me, and that's what made him stop, because he saw something in me that he had never seen before. And I was like, at this point, dude, whatever happened happens. Because you've lied to me, you made me look dumb. You got another woman coming to my house, beating on my door.
You got kids in the house.
Oh,
like that's what I'm saying. What if your kids would have opened the door and she would have just been in that zone where she, you know what I'm saying, would have did something to them? Oh yeah,
yeah. And I'm like, the Erica you knew, that's not her right now.
right. I have transformed into Megatron. I am coming for that ass.
Yeah, so that was one of my most memorable ones. I got so many.
Oh Lord! And the sad part is that you got so many.
That is the sad part. And the sad part is that that's not the only incident with that man. We broke up, but we got back together. Only to have this cycle happen again and again.
He was singing them Tank songs. Please don't know.
It was that trauma bond. It was that addicted to the highs and the lows, addicted to the makeup and breakup.
Right.
I'm so sorry. You the best thing that ever happened to me, and I messed up, and I lost my best friend, and I've been so depressed without you.
Yeah.
All of that. And
that's how it be.
That was my second marriage. I didn't want to have a third marriage.
Right. Because after you done been through that twice and been through, similar situations like that twice, why would you want to invest in a third time? So it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. But I mean, you can't hold everybody responsible for the trash that you ended up bringing into your world. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not all trash. Not all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it might be hard to.
The great thing I can say, the big difference, and this is sad to say, the upgrade with the second marriage and the first marriage is that in the second marriage, at least I had great sex in that marriage.
Oh Lord. At least the sex was good in that one. It was okay.
At least I had a reason to be acting crazy.
Right. Cause like the first time you looking at yourself like, what was I doing? Hold on, wait a
Right,
minute.
because at the first one was like, girl, the sex wasn't even good. What you still here for?
Shoot. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Queen, pause for crazy.
Right. But see, that's the problem right there. That's part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll sit there and you'll get, look, trust me, I've been there. But I'm just saying, sometimes you gotta let it go.
Baby, that was back there in my days, especially for me, because that was hard to come by because, like I think we talked about this in a previous show. Back when I was going through my promiscuous phase, it wasn't for the sex because I wasn't getting no enjoyment out of it.
Right.
I wasn't getting no enjoyment out of the sex. So when I finally started to enjoy the sex for myself, I was like, what have I been missing?
Right. Exactly. Who would have thought?
I know.
Who would have thought?
Oh, so this is what you ladies have been talking about.
I guess I shall sit around and partake for this.
Yes.
You know? But ladies out there and fellas out there, just know, if you're getting messed over, you're getting cheated on, you're getting lied to, leave. No matter how good the punana is. Like and a good friend of ours say, no matter how good the banana pudding might be.
Right, the banana pudding. And if you gonna stay, at least get some good sex.
Right. Well, we're supposed to be deferring the other way. I'm trying to keep this on the rails. See, this part of the problem right here. What the sheriff say? It better be better than Michael Jordan. Look. He said the sex ain't worth it, Miss Seeley.
I ain't saying the sex is worth it. I'm saying at the very least, you should be getting something
right
out of the deal.
There has to be some sort of compensation
right
for my pain and suffering.
Yes, but that one was, I have some more, but we back to you, Gator. We back to you.
No, see, that's the thing. Like I said, when I shared that story, it's like I don't really have a whole lot of those because one of my things was that if I even had that suspicion that something was going on, I ain't gotta catch you. Hold on, let me. I don't think this is working out. You're moving kind of shady.
Yes.
Ain't calling me baby. What the something change? You got to go.
My thing is this with the cheating, like when you're in a relationship and you really know that person and then you start to recognize differences in their patterns or differences in the way they interact with you, that's your first sign, that's your first signal. But for me, I always knew what it was before I actually found out what it was.
Right.
Leading up to it. But a lot of times you have your intuition, which is telling you one thing, and then you have your logical brain, which is telling you, what do you have to go on? What proof do you have?
Right.
Because you can't go and confront this man if you don't have any proof, because all he gonna do is lie about it. He's not gonna tell the truth. So you gotta go get some kind of proof to put into his face to where he has to admit it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that was my thing was I knew what I knew, but I needed proof to get put in front of him so that he could not lie out of it. And
Mm-hmm.
then we can hash it out from there.
Right, right. I
What
said,
Queen
let's
said.
see what Queen said. Gator, why the double standard? We're supposed to take the guy back, but guys don't take a cheating woman back. You're darn right we don't. Hey, you know what? Here's my opinion on that. I've been seeing that trash going around recently online where, a guy, if a guy cheats once, a woman's supposed to take him back. And no, you're not. I said,
Oh, I saw that too.
I don't understand when we decided that those things were going to happen. Girl, if you don't get rid of that lying ass, let me stop. Cut. Oh, go. Oh, he cheated? Go. I don't know where this narrative is coming from that, guys are supposed to be able to go and cheat multiple times and women supposed to be okay with that. That is not the narrative to go. This show is about healing. Girl, you better cut that boy loose.
These toxic men out here spewing this
Yeah,
venom
that's where it's coming
because
from.
they've lost grasp, because these women are starting to wake up and realize they don't have to put up with the BS. So they're figuring out ways to pull you back into that foolishness, and they're trying to play on women's insecurities, like, well, you're gonna be single for the rest of your life, you're gonna die single, that you're gonna have to put up with some stuff from men, you're not gonna find no perfect man.
That's what, see, ooh, see, when people
And
start talking that stuff,
right.
that angers me, because I hate when people say, "Oh, you're gonna have to deal with something from somebody. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to." No, you don't.
No,
No, you
you ain't
don't.
got to deal with nothing
You ain't
that you
got to
don't want to
deal
deal
with
with.
none of the stuff that you want to deal with. Everybody got a key. And you
And
know what I'm saying? If you got something that's going on that you are not feeling comfortable with, let it go. You ain't got to sit there and build a case and do all that kind of stuff. If you in your heart feel like this is something's going on, look, sit them down. Hey, look, is something going on? Nothing's going on. I feel like something's going on. I don't feel comfortable with the way that this is making me feel. I'm out. That's all. Do it. And you know what? Women a lot of times are more caring, and they'll look for the substance, because they'll say, "Oh well, I don't want to prejudge him or whatever." Men don't do that. Men be like, "Oh, I think she a hoe," and then they just cut it off.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? I think this is one of those things where women need to be like, "Look, I think something's going on. Let me cut this off before he get me out of my character and got me up
mhm.
there acting like Columbo, researching all this kind of stuff." No. If you got to start researching, then there's always a problem. There's already a problem, and that's probably gonna come up to be a bigger issue in the end. Go ahead and let it go.
The gaslighting is on 10. The thing about this with women is, if you've already dealt with gaslighting inside of a relationship, do not sit up here on these social media platforms and let groups of men gaslight
Hmm.
you
Right,
on top of that,
right.
because
Because
that's
they'll
all
do it.
it is. It's just a collective group of gaslighters to
Right,
keep you
exactly.
in a certain mindset, because men have been so used to this narrative that's been put out there that there's so many women to one man, and that they fed women this scarcity mindset, that you're gonna have to do this and this and this and this and this and this to get on top of the list, to get chosen by one of
Right,
us.
right,
And
right.
these
And
are the
that's
things that you're going to have to go put up with from men, because we are in the power position to choose you.
exactly, and it ain't even like that. They got the game messed up. See, the problem is we got a lot of males that out here and not enough men. You listen to a lot of these things, just because they got something swinging, don't mean that they know what they're talking about, or means that they represent all men. You want to hear men talking like some real men? Check out Real Shop Talk. That's when you see when
Mm-hmm.
real men are together and talking about, issues and how men feel and how men are supposed to act in certain scenarios. Half the dudes that be online doing all that kind of mess, they wouldn't be considered a real man by their mama.
Thank
So
you.
you know what? Let that go.
Anytime a man is telling you that you're going to have to put up with something that makes you feel unsafe, it makes you feel like you're dumbing yourself down, it makes you feel like you're settling, it makes you feel like you're looked down upon.
Right.
All of those things, if the advice that you're hearing makes you feel some type of way, that ain't it.
That ain't it.
That
That
ain't
ain't
it.
it. And don't let some of these women who out here co-signing it get y'all in nothing either, because they got some women out here who are co-signing that type of behavior. Well, that's just a man, and that's just you know why we got a toxic environment right now? Because we was listening to Betty Wright tell us the same thing that the Newtons and them
Mm-hmm.
be saying now. Don't
Mm-hmm.
blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie's just a man. He doing the
Yes.
best he can. Yeah, he cheating, he doing all this, but a piece of man is better than no man at all. And we ain't just start toxicity here. It's been going
Oh,
on for a
it's been
long
going on for
time. And all
generations
of
and
that stuff is
generations.
just sitting in the culture. So in order to break that, you gotta literally break that. No, no, no. I'm not about to put up with that BS. I'm about to go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
let it go. And you know what? Once you start letting that go, a lot of these dudes will realize, look, if I want to get married one day, I'm gonna have to straighten myself up, because as long as it's permitted, a lot of these clowns gonna keep doing the stuff they doing.
Yeah, because I saw that video. It was actually on TikTok where I guess it's these four guys, they have
Yeah,
conversations, and he was like, so if a woman catch you cheating the first time and she leaves you, does that mean she never really loved you? And
yeah,
one dude was like right off the top, yep, yep.
mm-mm.
I'm like,
Yeah. I was like, reverse
the
that
hell it
strategy and see.
does.
Right,
Coming from somebody who knows for certain, the more I took the cheater back, the more I did not love myself, the more I hated myself,
right,
the more I despised him. And I just stayed, basically, I stayed to get my revenge, because if I'm going to feel miserable inside, I'm going to make your life miserable too.
right.
Ain't
Exactly.
nobody in this MF are going to be happy, because
Right.
I'm not happy.
Exactly. And but you know what though? That's part of the thing. We got to stop taking advice of how to get better from people who ain't getting better. So when you listen to those people online, those guys that you're talking about, when you're talking, and you expected to learn more about how to have a better, fruitful relationship when they still out there hoeing, doing all the other stuff that they doing. That's not the people that you want to be listening to about having
Mm-mm.
fruitful relationships. I've made this example before, but I'm gonna bring it up again. If my car needs to be fixed, who am I gonna listen to? Am I gonna listen to the dude down the street who washes his car, every weekend, changes his oil, is always out there tinkering, he know what he talking about? Or I'm gonna listen to the dude who's sitting on the bus right next to me?
Hmm.
No, I'm
And
gonna listen to the dude who knows something about it.
and any man, woman, whatever, if they are in a healthy mindset, they are not going to tell you to do something that's going to make you feel less than.
Right,
A person who has a healthy mindset, a man who has a healthy mindset, a healthy love for himself, he doesn't want a woman who's going to take any and everything off of him, and
exactly.
still he wants a woman who's going to hold him accountable, encourage him to be a better person.
Right.
A man who's telling you to settle for my crumbs and settle for my scraps,
Right.
that's a man who doesn't feel like he has nothing else to offer but crumbs and
Exactly.
scraps.
Exactly. This just me. This just how I am. And if you don't like it, you just gonna have to. You just got to deal with it. No, no, you don't.
Mm-mm.
No, you don't. Get
Misery
the hint,
loves
Satan.
company. And that's all they're doing. They're spewing misery. It's easier to look outwardly and
Mm-hmm.
to criticize and to tell people that you need to change this, you need to change that, you need to do this, and you need to do that. But when it's time to look inward, that's the most painful thing to do. That takes the most work. That takes the most patience. That
Mm-hmm.
takes the most humility. And that's what this generation of social media wannabes
Mm-hmm.
don't have. They
No,
don't
and
have it.
but you know what though? Here's why they have the audience is because of the shock value. And they like, people like to hear the mess, unfortunately. They like to hear people talk about trauma because it's relatable. If somebody who has trauma is going through something, a lot of times they don't want to hear from people who got it together. They want to hear with people who in the same boat as them so they can lament with them and be like, oh yeah, that's just how it is. And everybody's sitting right there in the top of that barrel and they gonna come over because they're not gonna grow. They're not trying to grow. They just trying to be in fraternity with the people that's doing bad just like them. So we got to be able to listen to these, the people who can actually help us and then allow us to grow. Or we gonna
Thank
end up
you.
with, the rest of these fools.
Flies are attracted to shit.
Basically.
So when I
Basically.
see somebody talking a bunch of bullshit and I see a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of people gravitating towards it, I'm
Right.
like, oh, there they go. Let them go over there.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I pay attention to more than the actual person who's talking, I pay attention to the people who are following, the
Yeah.
people who are cheering it on. And that lets me know that subsector group of people, stay over there. Because if
Right.
that's your mindset, don't come contaminating what we got going on over here.
Exactly. And again, those are those same people, men and women, who will sit there and swear to you that they have all the answers. But then when you listen to it, it's like there's no growth here. There's no, why am I listening to you?
Hmm.
you know, it's
So
just gospel. I might as well be watching Real Housewives.
my thing about the cheating, catching your partner cheating is one of the most devastating,
Mm-hmm.
humiliating, hurtful, heartbreaking experiences that you can go through.
Yeah.
Um, Especially if you're already in a an unhealthy mindset where you get into relationships and you make that person your everything,
Right.
and you look for validation in that relationship. So when that partner cheats on you, you take a hit to your self-esteem
Yeah.
and you feel like I'm not good enough, to satisfy a person. Nobody, would ever be faithful or loyal to me. And even when I put out more love and more loyalty and more affection, I still don't get that back in return. So what is wrong
Mm-hmm.
with me? And so it's a time to start to evaluate how did you even get attached to this person? What was it about this person that drew you in? Was there some things that you just overlooked because you just wanted to be in this relationship so bad?
Right.
Because there were always signs before
Mm-hmm.
I got myself deeply involved in these relationships, but that broken part of me that wanted to fix another person, so by fixing them that would heal me, type of
Right.
thinking. So dealing with the aftermath of somebody cheating on you, it takes a whole lot of soul searching. It takes a whole lot of figuring out what was it that you ignored, what was it that you missed, um, what was it that you even got out of that relationship. Um, when that relationship ended, what really helped me, especially with my second husband, was just making myself understand that the man that you fell in love with was never real in the first place.
Right. Right.
He showed you what he knew you wanted to see. You latched on to that, and then you built a whole fantasy around what it was you wanted instead of what it was you actually had.
Right. 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 Right.
And getting over him, making that realization that I really fell in love with an idea and not an
Mm-hmm.
actual person.
Right.
And and it was okay to, even when somebody breaks your heart and hurts you badly, it's still okay for you to feel sad about the loss of that person, the loss of that relationship. It's
Oh yeah.
still okay for you to miss them. It's still okay for you to grieve,
Yeah.
because a lot of times, especially for women, once a man hurts us, dogs us out, and cheats on us, we think the only way to deal with that is to quickly forget about him, move on,
Mhm.
do better, upgrade, level up, and act like it never happened because he
Right.
wasn't worth my time anyway.
The Tyler Perry mode of healing,
Right.
basically.
Of course, he probably wasn't worth your time, but you still did give him time. So you have to mourn that time that you gave to him.
Right.
You have to mourn what you thought you had with him. You have to mourn who you became. If you lost yourself in that relationship, you got to mourn that. So you never invalidate your healing process, your grieving process, regardless of how terrible the relationship with was. You still owe yourself that time to be sad, to be angry, to be confused, to cry, to be depressed, whatever it is. You still owe yourself that time to get over it. It doesn't mean that you want them back.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't mean that, we have to get out of our own ego and stop worrying about how's it going to make us look. Oh, people going to think I'm stupid because I'm still crying over this dude. Okay, well,
Yeah.
forget them. They wasn't in the
Right.
relationship.
Exactly.
That was your relationship. You have every right to feel however you need to feel until you get better. You have to face your emotions, face everything that you're going through, deal with it. Don't hide from it. Don't do things to distract yourself from it. There was a
Right.
meme out there where, and this is so true, where they say you can break up with a woman and tomorrow she can be enrolled in college. She can have a
Mm-hmm.
business. She done leveled up. She done did all this. That's a defense mechanism to make the person feel like I'm not hurt. I'm
Right.
over you. I'm glad you're gone. And that's temporary. It only lasts, and it's only really for the outside, because on the
Exactly.
inside you're dying.
Exactly. And that's a natural thing. A lot of times you want to fix something, even if it's not yourself. you know but many times in those relationships, when you get broken, that's what you're going to do. You're going to try to fix yourself. Sometimes you try to fix yourself vicariously by trying to fix the person that hurt you. I've
Mhm.
seen too many relationships where, like you said earlier, where, look, if I maybe if I just loved him more, maybe if I gave more, and he would be better to me,
Mhm.
trying to fix him. And really, it's just about trying to fix yourself. I don't feel, I mean, he hurt me. How could he do this to me? Well, let me go ahead and continue to love him harder so that he'll realize what he doing, and I'll be to fix the situation. And that's the
Mhm.
wrong way to go about it. And then some women do decide turn to, oh, I'm gonna get these degrees, or I'm gonna go do, something else with my time. And while that's fine, you still got to deal with the trauma and things that you went through at that time, or it's going to come up again at the most inopportune time, in the
Mhm.
next relationship, when you do
Mhm.
find that person who's going to appreciate you, and you're sitting there, sitting outside his job, looking to make sure that he ain't got no women, like
Mhm.
calling him outside, or you checking his phone, or you doing all that kind of stuff. And he ain't doing nothing but being the person that God, answered your prayers with.
Mhm.
So the main thing is, don't let that trauma continue to break you. Go ahead and let it get healed.
Mhm. And as women, we also have to be honest with ourselves. When a man cheats on you, or when a man leaves you for another woman, we are secretly competing with that new woman,
Mm-hmm.
because we want the world to think, oh, he downgraded when he broke up with
Yeah.
me, or when he
Yeah.
cheated on me, and look what I'm doing. Look at the things that I'm achieving.
Look, she
Or
ain't even as pretty as me. Oh Lord.
right, there's another one. Or we do this stuff to show him what he missed, so he can
Mm-hmm.
run back and beg to get back with us, so that we can have our revenge. But what
Right.
you're really doing is you're holding yourself up from really healing, because you're waiting on that fateful day when he runs back to you and tells you that, I missed you. You're the best woman I ever had. I messed that up. Once he see you doing good without him,
Mm-hmm.
you're really putting all that energy into getting him back, not really
Right.
doing it for yourself.
Right. And the dude could be a piece of crap.
Mm-hmm.
He could be, he a piece of crap, but he was your piece of crap. And he did
Mm-hmm.
this to you, so I gotta prove to him, and I'm saying this on behalf of women because I've seen it with women, but men do it too. Where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, this girl, she messed over me, whatever. I gotta prove to her that I'm gonna find something better than her. I'm gonna do
Right.
the, you know what I'm saying? That we become in competition with ourselves, trying to show her something, you know.
Mm-hmm. And even if I've had that every time I've broken up, they come crawling back. I let them back in. I put the persona out there that I'm doing so much better without them. I
Mm-hmm.
done, I done lost weight. I done got in the gym. I
Right,
done slimmed up. And I'm taking trips and I'm doing these things, and then they come running back,
mm-hmm.
so that you can turn them down. So that's your revenge on them. But you're still not moving on, because you're still focusing on getting
Right,
him back. I want to get him back, and I want to show him how it feels when he did
exactly.
it to me. You're focusing on the
Exactly.
wrong thing.
Right. I mean, it does no good to do all these things because of this person. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and get myself together and lose weight and get this degree and do this and this because I want to make sure they know that they missed out on something. But
Mm-hmm.
that means that they are living in your head still,
Mm-hmm.
and will continue to live in your head. Even once you done got all these things and made these achievements, you still ain't healed from that trauma. So guess what? You're still rating yourself based on what this person who ain't nothing anyway thinks about you. There's a reason why you should have moved on.
The best revenge is no revenge.
The best revenge is
The
to let them
best
go.
revenge is to forget
Yep.
all about them and care nothing about what
Right.
they doing.
Exactly. Don't even give a damn about it. Like, wait, what they do? Oh, well, anyway. So, blah, blah, and just go on ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead
Right.
about your business. Just the fact that that they get any attention, any time, any thought is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's like, you know what? No, because don't allow them to continue to live in your head.
Yep. A part of your healing process is to cut up all communication with them. Don't check up on them. Don't stay updated on what they're doing in their life. And anybody
Hmm.
in your life that tries to talk about them or bring them up or give you any information about them, set that boundary.
Hmm.
I don't want to hear nothing about them.
Yep.
I don't want to hear nothing about them. And that I actually had to do that with my ex husband. I was friends with his cousin. They weren't like real close cousins, but she was going through a similar situation with her husband. He was a cheater
Right.
too, and
Oh Lord.
so that was the thing that we had in common. But once I cut him off and I was really serious that I'm never going back, I'm done.
Right. So
um when she would call, she would always have, little updates about what she heard about him or what he was doing.
right.
And so I finally told her, she called one day and I don't know, I was already on ready. So when she called, the first thing I said is, you better not tell me nothing about him, because if so, I'm hanging up. She was like,
Right.
no, I ain't calling for that. I was like, oh, I'm just letting you know.
I just was letting you know, just straight
I,
up.
I'm sick of the updates. I don't want to know nothing about his life.
Right, right, right. Because that don't do nothing but prolong the scenario of healing. A lot of times, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we got look, we
Yep.
got an hour. Look, now, look, everybody. Yep, no social media
No
stalking.
social media
You
stalking,
know.
no none of that. And I'm not gonna lie, for a little while after we broke up, I did go through a period where I was social media stalking. I wanted to know who the girl was that he was dealing with. I wanted to see what it
Right.
was about her and all this type of stuff. But that's counterproductive. It didn't do anything for me. I lost a lot of energy and time wasting it on that.
Exactly. And that's what you're losing. You're losing time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't got to be worried about that. I wouldn't even worry about it.
Who is it? We got Tiffany.
Mhm.
My boyfriend cheated on me 4 different times, and each time I took him back. But the fourth time, I decided that I love him so much that I would let him do what he does when he works away.
Yeah, and see, that's not always a good thing to do either, because if you've allowed it to happen so many times that it then worn you down to where this is just what he does, so I'm
Mm-mm,
just gonna let him do what he does. I mean, that's
mm-mm,
you have to realize that if that's not what you desire, and then that's not the situation that want to be in, then if he's not willing to make that change, then you need to let it go.
mm-mm.
He's got to go.
Tiffany, you
You
do
know,
not have to settle
you ain't
for
gotta you
that.
don't have to settle for it because
He
that's
can do
not
what he does
yeah,
by himself or with some other chick.
exactly.
But
Exactly. You know, you
mm-mm,
have to realize that you know what, I deserve better than that, and it's not that you're so much better than him or whatever. It's just that you have a desire to have things a certain way. You don't want to live the rest of your life settling for something that's going to make you miserable in the end, to where you literally have to wave a white flag up and just say, I give up. There are so many marriages that are like that from back in the day where, I think I've told the story before. I used to know a girl that her mom and dad used to sleep in separate bedrooms because
mm-hmm,
he had a little girlfriend on the side. She had a little, boyfriend or whatever. But I mean, it's just how he is. I'm just gonna settle for it. That's what it was. As long as he bringing money in, okay. Well, I guess I'm at to settle for it. And they sat there, just lived their lives just as miserable for 40 or 50 years. You never
mm-mm.
seen the woman smiling. You never see. No, don't do that. No, because everybody deserves to be able to smile and to be happy. And you don't sound weak at all. It's not even anything about weakness at
It
all.
ain't you being weak, it's him
Right.
being weak. It's
Exactly.
him being weak. If he can't control his sexual urges while he's away
Hmm.
from you working and being committed to you, that's his weakness. But
Right.
you don't have to share in his weakness. If it makes you feel if it makes you feel unsafe, if it makes you feel unloved, if it makes you feel, unvaluable in that relationship, you don't have to settle for that,
Right.
because just because you still want to be around and you want to keep him in your life, there's going to be another man out there that's going to cherish you, and he's not going to cheat on you. He's
Right.
going
And
to take your feelings into consideration. It's not, a relationship cannot be a selfish thing. That's what we get it wrong when we come into the relationship and we say, well, this is what I need, and if you can't give it to me, then I'm going to go somewhere else and get it.
right,
That's selfish.
exactly.
Because if it's something that hurts you, if he loves you and values your feelings, he can make that compromise. I mean,
Or
it's
he's
not like you're never going to get sex again.
right. Or he could attempt. There's ways that, hell, look, there's therapy, there's counseling that you could go to for things like that. If he cares about you in that scenario, hey, look, why don't we go to counseling together? Why don't we see if there's other ways that we can, work through this aside from you going out and cheating all the time? Because not only is that disrespectful, it's also dangerous with everything that's going on these days. It's a dangerous thing. So if that's not what you want, but you want to be with him, I would say consider doing some sort of counseling at that point. And if he's receptive to it, if he's not receptive to it, you got to let it go. But if
Mm-mm.
he's receptive to it, then maybe that's the avenue you want to take.
I mean, it has to be a mutual thing. If if you got into a relationship with him and he told you from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
I one woman is not enough to fulfill my sexual desires. I usually have to have more than one woman. He gave you that option if you
Right.
wanted to go into a relationship and knowing that is what's going to happen. But if he got into a relationship with you, promising you that he will be faithful to you and only you, and then he turned around and said, when I'm away from you, I need sex, and since you're not there to give it to me, I got to get it from somebody, then that's not fair to you.
Right.
You don't
Like,
have to accept it.
right. Erica was talking a little while ago about phone sex. Her and her husband at the time doing phone sex, doing things like that when he was away. He was away for some BS. But I'm just saying that was something that was done. There are ways that you can manage during times like that if he has to go away for a little while. So that's the things so that's never an excuse. There's other ways that you can manage in scenarios like this. I just looked at what Queen said. He could please himself. Mm.
Exactly.
So
And
yeah.
he can save it up. Why can't he save all that sexual energy up and give it all to you when he does get home?
hmm Yeah, there's
Like,
there's other ways of doing it. Yeah.
it's just
I thought
what
about
was
that
this?
too, to sure. And
Girl, in the same way he was living with me and talking to other women. Shoot, a
so
cheater gonna do what a cheater does.
yeah, that is very true. If somebody wants to cheat, they'll find a way to go ahead and do it.
Shoot, when the last straw. So I'm gonna tell this last story, and then we gonna get up out of here.
Right.
So the straw that broke the camel's back, that made me leave him for good, was I was working at the bank, and this girl came to my job. Here's another way another woman is approaching me. She came to my job. I was up on the third floor. You have to get on the elevator to come downstairs to the lobby. So one of the girls on the teller line called me and she says, "There's a girl down here in the lobby for you. Her name is Renee." And I have a friend that's named Renee. So I was like,
Yeah.
what Renee doing at my job? She never came up here before. So I'm thinking it's her. So I'm going downstairs to see what she wants. I get down there. There's this girl that I don't know, don't recognize, I've never seen her before. And when she saw me walking up, she walked towards me and she handed me an envelope. And so she gave me the envelope and then she just walked out the building. And I'm looking at her walking away like, who are you? And what is this?
Right. Is this
She
about
didn't
the self-destruct? What's
right, like, are you serving me or something? What we doing?
right?
And so when she walked away, I opened up the envelope. I'm walking back towards the elevator to go back to my desk. And I'm taking the papers out. And as I'm reading them and realizing what they are, a hot flush just came over my body. And I was like, so I stopped
What
in my
was it?
tracks. It was 5 pages of printouts of text messages of my husband
Mm.
texting his ex-girlfriend. They were texting each other. So it was showing me dates and times of them and conversations that they were having. Conversations where they were meeting up, conversations where he was giving her money, conversations where they were telling each other they love each other.
Oh wow.
And I didn't read it in its entirety. And so I ran upstairs into my desk and I called my supervisor and I told her that I had a family emergency. I need to go home right now. She was like,
Yeah.
that's fine, just fine. Go ahead, go take care of what you got to take care of. So I rushed home because at that time he was working an overnight job. So during the day while I'm at work, he at home getting his sleep.
Mm.
So when I came home, he thought I was coming home for an early lunch because I usually go home on my lunch break and he'll be waiting for me. So when I came in the house, he was sitting up in the bed watching TV and he looked at me and just laughed and he was like, plus, I don't know what that is. He was like, what you doing home early? What you doing home so early? So I threw him the papers and let him started reading them. And as he was reading them, he was like shaking his head. Wow.
So he already knew.
He knew. He was like, man, this is wild. And I
Wow.
was like, what you mean? What's wild about it? I said, no, it ain't wild, you wild. So he didn't lie about it. He couldn't say nothing. He was just busted. He didn't say
Mm, mm,
anything.
mm.
And so we got into it. You know, I told him to pack his bags and get out. Um, but then, we kind of like talked about it and I kind of calmed down. So when he went to work that night, I pulled the papers back out and I started reading them in detail because I didn't read them fully because I was so like, caught off guard. So while he was at work that night, I just went over the paperwork and I was going down the line and I was reading them in detail. And then I started like getting real pissed off because there was one text message where she was asking him where I was. And he told her, oh, she in the kitchen. So
Oh
that
wow.
means you
He
were
was doing that.
actually in the
Ooh.
house with me while you were texting her and I'm in the next room.
Mm-mm.
And as I was
Mm-mm.
reading it, I was getting more pissed and more pissed and more pissed. So when he got off work that morning, all of his stuff was packed and ready to go. And I got him up out of there. And
Shoot.
I'll never forget because he bought me this teddy bear for Valentine's Day. And I hate teddy bears. And I took
Wow.
it and I accepted it because he bought it for me. But that was my chance. so,
Mm.
so when he had got all his stuff in his car and he was getting ready to pull off, I took that doggone teddy bear and I slammed it in his face. I said, and take this doggone teddy bear. I ain't never want the MF anyway. And the look on his face, that looked like that hurt.
Right.
It looked like
that hurt his heart right there.
Yeah, he
You ain't
looked at
want
me
to.
for a minute like, you never said nothing. I've been holding it.
I didn't know you ain't like it. I thought I was doing a good job.
and that was that on that. She said I would have took a knife.
Right.
It was, yeah. That was
right.
He took me through some
Sonny
stuff.
say for me, I give my partner 3 strikes when he did something dumb for the 3rd time. Okay, so guys, if a man cheats on you, let's try this next time. A man cheats, let it go.
I ain't got 3 times.
just look. What I said. What my thing is: red flags equal checkered flags. You see the red flags? Nope, it's over. Game over.
That was
Let's
it.
go ahead and roll. You know, and I hate that because I'm looking and Tiffany, I feel where you coming from too, being scared about losing somebody, because I have been there. I've definitely been there. You know, look, to be too afraid of losing somebody, you know what I'm saying, to let them go. But sometimes you definitely have to be able to let them go. It ain't easy, and nobody says it's easy. You're not weak, and you're not foolish for taking them back. You just have to know that you deserve more than that.
Tiffany, this statement right here, I feel you totally. When I was in my first marriage, I felt the same way. I was so afraid to leave him because I didn't know if I could financially take care of my kids by myself. But I promise you, you will. If you just take the first step to move forward and leave, everything else will work out on its own.
Yeah.
Especially if you have family who will help you. You know, it's hard when you have that. A lot of times we let our pride get in the way, and that's what kept me in the situation. Because of my pride, I didn't want to ask for any help, because in a lot of the stuff I was going through in my marriage, I hid it from people because my pride, I didn't want people to know what was going on behind closed doors. I didn't want people to know I was being a fool in my marriage, you know, and I wanted to keep that image going. So, you know, I mean, when you take that first step, God will take the next steps for you. He's going to guide you where you need to go to get you out of that situation, because the longer I stayed in it, the more I was dying inside to myself.
Right.
I couldn't recognize myself anymore, and I didn't respect myself. I was embarrassed that I stayed that long and put up with so much from this man when it wasn't really a secret. Like, I knew what he was doing. His family knew what he was doing.
Right.
The women he was messing with knew what he was doing. And so it was like just taking that first step and getting my dignity together and saying, whatever happens, happens, but I just can't stay here no more.
Right. Right. You know, because you could stay there and continue to let that trauma, you know, impact you, you know, to where it starts to manipulate the way you think, the things that you do, to a point to where you lose yourself completely. And you don't ever want to do that. And I think they got some good suggestions. Sign up for Coach E's coaching services. Definitely.
And I'm telling you that feeling of being able to have a choice, of being able to choose how you allow somebody to treat you, and being able to say, I can walk away from this if this does not serve me. This is not what I deserve. I have the power to walk away. Nothing feels better than that. Nothing feels better than that.
Exactly. And no, thank you, Tiffany, for coming up. No, you need to come up to the front of the virtual congregation. Everybody come up and give Tiffany a hug. Come up here and give her that love right now. I'm just telling you.
Virtual love and hugs
virtual love and hugs for Tiffany right now. Because you know what? The fact that you know, it's a wake-up call. It's like, hey, I need to figure out what I'm doing. Look, you have to start somewhere. And we're glad that we could be here for that start. Y'all give Tiffany some love, man. We appreciate that. Definitely.
Thank you for sharing, Tiffany. We appreciate you. And we appreciate everybody who joined us tonight. Love y'all. Y'all are our village that we're building. And we're going to continue to have these conversations. And I'm so glad Tiffany was able to catch the show and get what she
Yeah.
needed out of it. I've been there, Tiffany.
Mm.
I,
Hmm.
I only told y'all two of my stories. I got so
Right.
many I can't even name them. So
Right,
yeah.
right. And
So
I
don't feel
mean,
bad.
right, don't feel bad because some of the stuff can feel like it's embarrassing, but guess what?
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes you go through those things in life so that you can have a testimony later,
Thank you.
for someone else. I mean, so that happens with a lot of embarrassing things that happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
You look back on it and say, you know what, I can share this with somebody, and that might give them the strength to do the things that they need to do to get better. you know
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've shared being chained up to a bed to Motel 6, and I'm not exactly sure how that's going to help anybody, but I feel like one day that testimony may help
It may help
somebody.
somebody
Uh,
somewhere.
Somewhere, somebody, it might help.
Yes. And this Tiffany, it's do never feel embarrassed about loving somebody, even when they don't show you that same love back. That's not an embarrassing thing. And never be embarrassed and take on the responsibility of another grown person's actions. It's not your responsibility to feel embarrassed about how your boyfriend is treating you. He has to meet his maker about that. He has to take
Right.
into accountability for that. That's
Mhm.
not your responsibility. So that's not an embarrassment. Even though
Right.
many of us women, we take that on and we feel embarrassed when a man cheats on us. That's not our embarrassment to carry. That's
Right.
theirs. That's on them.
Right. Exactly. So you focus on your healing, and just remember that they'll have to focus on their own separately.
Mhm.
But for now, you focus on you.
Yes. And we are about to get out of here. Gator, you got anything you want to leave with the people before we get out?
I just want to say, make sure that y'all are liking these videos, and make sure that you are clicking the subscribe button, and that you are clicking that alert bell. Make sure you're doing it. And hey, if you're seeing this tomorrow, the day after, next week, 3 months from now, I want y'all to go ahead and continue giving love to Tiffany, and keep doing that, because guess what? It takes a congregation. So y'all keep doing that.
Yes, like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna make a song about that. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share,
Right.
and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, somebody already using that.
And anybody who's watching, if you would like to be a guest on the show,
Yep,
or if
yep.
you have some topic suggestions, something that you want to hear us discuss on the show, send
Hmm.
us an email. Our email address is scrolling right now on the bottom of the screen. Also, connect with us on Instagram at dope discussions underscore pod. Also, follow us on TikTok, and that's at
Yeah.
dope discussions. We are going to be working on building our TikTok following. We are building our Instagram following. Shout out to Tashura and Ursula B from the Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together podcast. We are going to be starting uh, a new little ladies Instagram live show, and it's going to
Ah.
be called Talking Dope Shift, where we're going to be talking about real life stories, things that we've gone through, how we worked through those
Ah.
things, how we're currently working through those things. Um, on the 9th, October 9th, we're going to be talking about trauma bonding and
Mm.
what trauma bonding is, what are the signs of a trauma bond, and how do you break that pattern of getting into these trauma bonding relationships.
Oh wow. Talking dope shift. I see what y'all did there. I see what you guys did there. That actually sounds really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I gotta try to. I told you I'm trying to keep from working so much, so I can start doing these things. We
I
gonna get it.
know we need Gator in the house more
Yeah,
often.
yeah, because Erica, you told me that last week. It's probably been the same this week. He be MIA for the whole week.
Yes.
And then look,
Be like,
all shall be
you
explained in the
alive
next
over
couple weeks. Right.
there?
All shall be explained. I had to make money move. I got some things I got to do, but y'all gonna see soon. So yeah, we
Yes.
good.
Well, thank y'all, everybody. We are out of here, and we will see y'all again next Sunday. I don't know what the topic is going to be just yet. Maybe Gator will come up with something that we can talk about
Yeah.
next week. But we will see y'all again. Look at Tashura being messy.
I still
Boot up.
being messy. That ain't even what's happening, but hey,
That's
yeah.
it's all good. Gator making them dollar signs. Dollar
Look,
signs.
giving them dollar signs.
He giving out them dollars.
You know, but it's all good. It is all good.
Good.
Being booed up and giving out dollar signs. I'm good.
It's all good. Life is good.
Life
Like
is
Future
good.
and Drake. Life is good.
Right, exactly. But I got other stuff coming. We getting it.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Peace out.